Really excited about the Raleigh Sports Card show coming up this weekend. Today I'm going to talk about some expectations / priorities for this show. Let's talk about it. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. How are we doing? We are almost to the weekend. It is another day, another sports card collectibles video. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button down below. We're growing like a weed lately, so thank you very much for joining me. Also, don't forget to connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad, and I'm also on the Twitter, the Sports Card Dad. All right, guys, one of my hobby friends, Flippin Steve, he will be in town tomorrow morning. He's actually flying in around 7 in the morning, and then we're going to probably go grab breakfast real quick, and then the show opens in Raleigh at 9 a.m. We will be there like at a concert, waiting at the front row, trying to get into this thing. I've been waiting for this show for a couple of months. It's the first live show that I've been to since Atlanta, I believe, going back to February? So it's been a minute, and I'm excited to get back into the show. Oh, also went to the Mint Collective in Vegas, but that was more of a business show than a show. It was a card show, but it wasn't a true kind of card show. So this is the first one in a while. So first priority for me is my youngest son. He is 7. I've got 4 kids. My youngest has autism, and he is mega into Pokemon. It's all he talks about. If you know anything about autism, they tend to really zero in on one particular subject matter, and then they dive in deep. And so he's dove in. He dove into Pokemon big time. He talks to me all about different things going on in it, how the whole world works, the card game, everything, and he organizes all of his stuff really well. And anyway, he wants shinies. So he wants the shiny cards. And fortunately, we do hear about, of course, like the massive Pokemon sales, but in reality, there are a fair amount of inexpensive shiny cards. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Charizard, although he said if I could find one, that would be amazing. Okay, great. But there's a million other characters to collect. And so he's just looking for shinies in particular. And then we play kind of like a Pokemon card game where we kind of war against each other. Anyway, so my first priority is finding shinies, and I've had good success in the past with this at this show, and relatively inexpensive to where I could get fair amount of them for a low price. So that would be priority 1, is just making sure I can get that all set up for him. I think that would be fun, and hopefully Flippin Steve will play the Pokemon game with us. It's going to be a great weekend. Secondly, I'm really keeping an open mind as far as what I'm looking for to buy. I just want to kind of see what is the inventory. It's always interesting with this particular show because it changes all the time. I've been to this show where it's a lot of modern basketball. I've been to this show where there's a lot of vintage stuff. I've been to it where there's a lot of vet auto stuff. And they also mix this card show with toys, with graded comic books, and so forth. So you're getting a lot of different types of collectibles at this show. That'll be interesting because sometimes this show is like 95% cards. Sometimes it's 50% cards, 50% comics, antique type stuff. So it's going to be interesting to just see how the layout is. And that's why I like this show, because you never really know what you're going to get. There's 2 different promoters, I believe, that work this show. So you've got different types of shows, but it's in the same place at the Raleigh Fairgrounds. I am thinking about bringing a few Steph Curry cards. I don't have anything crazy at all, and I don't have a lot of cards really. But like an example of a Steph Curry card I was thinking about bringing is like a 18 Ruby Wave PSA 10 Curry, just because they won. I did see there's some volume on eBay. There's some sales happening, obviously. And again, it's just like a trade thing. Whereas if there's something else that I like and maybe the dealer thinks, hey, I can move Curry, then maybe we can do some sort of a trade. So I don't have any high-end Curry stuff, but $50 cards, $100 cards, maybe $150 cards, I'll bring those and just see if maybe there's an opportunity to move off of some of that stuff and get into maybe some other stuff that I like. Also keeping an eye out for sweet PC cards. If you guys watch the channel, I'm a huge Drew Brees PC guy. And the thing that I've been kind of paying attention to and I've been hearing a lot is there's dealers that are willing to trade down out of cards that are not easy to sell. So if you have, a $1,000 card, a $1,500 card, but it's a niche player like Drew Brees, for example, there's a lot of Brees cards out there. And are there lots of Brees collectors? Yeah, there are. It's got a decent collector base, but the reality is that dealers are not going to have an easy time moving that stuff. And so I'm going to kind of look at that as, are there some decent price points? Can I negotiate into, some PC cards, just some really sweet breeze stuff at a discounted rate? And I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if there's even going to be any breeze cards there, but that will be a focus for sure. Just kind of checking that out. NFL Legends, that's something I always look for. If you watch me, you know that I collect like Joe Namath autos. I collect vintage football. I collect, all sorts of different type of Hall of Fame auto cards or parallels, different stuff like that. I love football cards. And so if there are any sorts of deals to be had or just interesting things there with NFL Legends, NFL Hall of Famers, I'll be taking a look at that stuff. Lastly, too, I'll be keeping one eye as well on the comic book section. It's an interesting space for me. I'm not a massive comic book collector, but I do buy things here and there. I just bought a Joker #1, 9.6, CGC 9.6 white pages from 1975, kind of a semi-vintage, vintagey comic book. I really, I guess, appreciate kind of those older kind of Silver Age and the Golden Age stuff. I'm going to keep an eye out on that stuff as well, but we'll see. I might actually go to a Comic-Con where Neo Cards and Comics is going to be in Charlotte next weekend, and so I might just not focus at all on comics. It all is going to depend too on how the show is broken down. Like I said, sometimes it's like 95% sports cards, sometimes it's like 40% sports cards, 40 comics, 20 toys. It's all weird sometimes how it's broken up. So we'll just have to see. We're going to let the game come to us. We're not going to force anything downfield. We're going to check down if we need to. Guys, let me know your thoughts. You going to any sports card shows this weekend? What are you targeting? What are you buying in general, or are you selling everything? What are you doing? Talk to me. Stay healthy. Stay awesome. I will talk to you again later.